Thank you everybody who's been following along so far, because we have done it. I've hit my first major milestone. We have hit the 1,000 subscriber mark. So we're gonna keep going. Good news is I've got big goals to hit by the end of this year, and especially by the end of next year. Now, if I don't hit one this year, that means I have to double down for next year. My goal for the end of this year is huge. It's 10,000 subscribers. No matter what, we're gonna try our best and we're gonna get there one way or another. In this video, I'm gonna go over everything that I've done, everything we've completed so far this year with the Honda, the Nissan, my BRZ. We didn't really do too much to my BRZ, but my buddy's FRS turbo build that we did, and everything that we have planned in the future for this channel. I am nowhere near finished with everything that I want to do. The CRX may be up and running, but it's got a long ways to go. And the Z, obviously the Z, we've got big plans for this car. The motor here, that's just the cake. We still got the icing yet. I got a lot of parts here. We've been stockpiling for a very long time, and we got a long ways to go. So when we first started this adventure, the CRX was non-VTEC, a B20. It was running. The Z, well, I guess for most of you, it started out running and then it broke the timing belt. But for me, it started out with it not running. We have a motor together. It's been disassembled, reassembled. Still waiting on other stuff for that. And in the meantime, I've completed a boosted FRS build for a friend of mine who's now got over probably close to 2,000 miles on it. He told me he took it to Miami last week and then drove back, and it was great. The idea was, when I finished his build and he paid me for doing it, I was going to take that money and put it right into this car. Well, just so happens that I have two other needy little female dogs that require money and parts. So the money that was supposed to go into the turbo kit for that ended up going into that little thing and this little thing and this stuff right here. Oof, 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 oof. So excited for all that. You have no idea. Oh my goodness. The drivetrain in this car is gonna be legendary. Legendary, I tell you. But oh my goodness, the plans, the future of this channel. The future is what keeps me going. So let me start off with saying first that when I started this channel, I didn't think it would be this motivational. I thought it would be more of like, oh, such a drag. It's one more thing I gotta do. Which in a way, yeah, but no. Actually, it's been very beneficial for me. Because without YouTube and without doing this, I would be sitting there watching TV, playing video games. I'd say it, wasting time. This channel has kept me motivated to be doing stuff that would probably normally be sitting around for way longer than it should. For instance, this cylinder head sat on a shelf for close to 6 years, probably 7 years. And it wasn't until I started doing YouTube that I got the itch to go look at it and say, I think I could put this cylinder head in the car. And look, it's up and running and it's better than ever. Yeah, it took me a little bit extra because I had to find the noise, and I tore apart the entire motor and rebuilt it. And there's videos on that. You guys should really check it out. So for future plans, the CRX is going to ultimately be an autocross car. But the next couple things that I have for it are going to be getting the heat under control in this car. When I drive it for extended periods of time, the interior of the car gets insanely hot. So I gotta do some heat wrap, some intake wrap, and get those intake air temps down, as well as get the cabin temperature down. Also for the CRX, we've got to dial in the suspension and chassis. I have some cheap max speeding rod coilovers on it currently, and I really need to get some like chassis stiffening in this car, because just coming up my driveway here, I can feel the front end flexing and twisting. It's pretty crazy. So future plans for the BRZ. I told myself this car is 10 years old this year. It will have a turbo kit by the end of this year. We have a third of a turbo kit for it. That is the charge piping and intercooler, and that's it. And I have a tune. Well, I have the software to tune it. But turbo kit coming for the BRZ. Hopefully that'll be done by the end of the year. It'll only take me like a weekend to install. The problem I'm really gonna struggle with, I think, is tuning this car, because it's way more advanced tuning than what I'm used to with my air and fuel, and then pound in some timing or adjust my boost controller on my standalone ECU. So, boosting the BRZ, fixing the heat problem in the CRX. Now, for the good stuff, the Z32. What is going on with the Z32? I know so many of you want to know what in the world is going on with this car. Oh, by the way, I finally paid off my entire tool bill. If you're in the automotive world and you work as a mechanic or auto technician by trade, you have tool bills. And the tool bills are probably about $100 a week nowadays for most people. That's toolbox and tools. Unfortunately, sometimes they can be two different accounts which stacks on top of each other. That stuff gets very, very expensive. So, huge relief there. And you know what that means. Since we have fewer bills to pay on tools, we have more car parts we can buy. So future plans for the Nissan, something that you've all been waiting for. This has been a long time coming. It's kind of killing me on the inside, but I'm very patient, sometimes too patient, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm waiting on this right here. It's been a long time coming. Let me start off with this. My initial plan wasn't to get the Polar Engineering manifolds. I had already purchased the mirror image turbo setup from Pulsar back in 2021, I think it was. It's been 2 years at least. So originally I was gonna have my exhaust turbo manifolds custom built from tubular metal, and then once I found out that Polar Engineering was gonna make his own, and that guy was taking too long to do anything, so I went and scrapped that idea and went with Polar Engineering. So if you must know, the complete full build specs for the 300ZX is going to be obviously this motor. See engine build video here. I'll just go ahead and link it. Along with this motor, we are going to have G25 660 mirror image turbos, along with, for the first time ever, McLeod Racing RXT 1200 twin disc clutch mated to a Tremec T56 transmission. If you are unfamiliar with McLeod RXT 1200s, they are very popular among the super guys with the T56 swaps. Joel Granis of Granis Racing, this is basically his go-to clutch. If you want to look him up, look up Granis Racing T56 review. There's a video of him releasing the clutch out of a 1200 horsepower Supra with big cams, a rough idle, and he releases the clutch with his right foot on the clutch and the left foot out the window. No gas is provided to the vehicle from a standstill. If that's any idea as to how well this clutch can drive and how smooth it is, that's to me, that's a real testament, because I've heard rumors that these clutches are fantastic and they drive just as well as a stock street clutch, but they hold power. We're talking 1200 horsepower, 800 foot-pounds of torque. And you know what? It's probably more than that, because the way turbo cars put down power is not instantaneous torque. It's a much more smoother increase in torque. Sorry, I gotta come out here to get some air because it's already starting to bake in here. So we've got the McLeod RXT 1200 clutch, and then I've got my Tilton hydraulic release bearing. This is the ultimate recipe for a high horsepower street car that you want to be fast and easy to drive on the street today. T56 RXT 1200 Tilton hydraulic release bearing. They don't call them throwout bearings. And yes, this is the Merlin machining adapter housing for the T56. So this will go on to the front of the T56 transmission and allow it to bolt up to my VG30, which is on the engine stand over there. It's gonna be glorious. I'm so excited to have all these drivetrain components working together, and hopefully never have to worry about any drivetrain problems again. It's not to say it's going to be impervious to any kind of drivetrain failure, because nothing's perfect in this world, but it's going to be awesome. I'm super pumped. I'm just as excited for the drivetrain that's going into my Z as I am for the motor setup, because it's all going to be a one-off everything, like mirror image turbo T56 300ZX. Like, how awesome does that sound? That's why we're all here, right? Because I'm just as excited to see it as you guys are. And when this thing's screaming down the road with open waste states dumping, oh my goodness. So, future plans for the channel. For the channel itself, I want to do 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That's my goal. With that, I'll probably need to have 90% of my Nissan up and going in order to get anywhere close to that. Now, from there, next year, by the end of next year, I want to be up to probably 30,000 subscribers. We'll see how everything else lays out. So, I'm kind of like back and forth on this, but no matter what, I'm gonna do this. So you see that little shed right there, that little thing over there. So that little shed, I'm going to move to somewhere out of the way. I'm still keeping it, but I gotta move it, because we're gonna build either a 20x40 or 30x40 shop right there. It'll be probably next year or the year after. I got a couple other little things that need to fall into place, but I will say, more than likely, if this channel reaches 50,000 subscribers by the end of next year, I don't know if that's even possible, but should it hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of next year, there's 110% a shop going right there. It's happening. That's it. If you guys want to help me with that, share this video and we'll get a shop put in. Now, it's funny because I know some YouTubers are all like, oh, I hit 200,000 subscribers. Oh, I hit 100,000 subscribers. I'm going to build my own shop. I'm going to build my own building. No. I'm not even 30 to 50,000 subscribers, and I'm building a shop right there. I said it. It's on here. It's documented. It's happening. And in this shop, I'm going to have at least one lift. Obviously, I have my air compressor already, but I want to do a lift and then just have 3 bay doors, one for each car, and or maybe something else. There'll be a lift and be an extra little area where I can push a car into if I need to, and or jet skis, planes. Where will this channel take us? I am not opposed to getting a plane. I recently flew in my old boss's plane. It was a little Vans RV7, and I'm gonna admit that was life-changing. I'd always wanted to fly in a small prop plane. I've jumped out of planes before, but I've never actually landed in a small plane before. So that'll be freaking awesome. So follow along, guys. We got big dreams, big aspirations. We're getting there. We're going places. We're actually finishing projects. With all that said, that's all my dreams and aspirations over the next year or two. Obviously, there's a bunch of things that depend on that. Life can happen at any moment. You never know what's going to happen. But as for now, that's the plan. That's the direction we're going. We're going to do everything to keep heading that way. But, hey, it is what it is. You get what you give. Yeah, I'm quoting Drake. Y'all have a good one. Thanks for following along. If you aren't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button and follow along, because you don't want to miss out on all this epicness that we're going to have going on in the next year. We'll see y'all next video. Take care. Cheers. I'm still recording. What are you doing here? Go home.